We're going to talk about Judge Stacey Cook and what she did to me, what she did to many other people, and why this judge needs to be immediately arrested and put in prison. We're also going to talk about Stephen Groth, who is a Jewish pedophile lawyer. He is a Jewish pedophile lawyer. Stephen Groth has done many horrible things. Not only has Stephen Groth celebrated the death of many Palestinians, but Stephen Groth is also a Jewish pedophile. He is a lying piece of shit lawyer. That's his partner, I guess. I know Stephen Groth because Stephen Groth, I said in court, I am pleading innocent. The police attacked me. I was a Canadian tourist, and the police attacked me. They tasered me. They stole my money. They stole my Canadian tourist money, the American police. And I demanded in court that I would represent myself. I said, I'm representing myself, and I'm the victim. And these charges against me are bogus when I'm the victim. I'm from Canada. I'm a Canadian tourist. How dare you Americans treat a Canadian like this? No wonder 9/11 happened. If this is the way America treats their so-called allies, no wonder America has all these enemies around the world. So I was in courtroom in front of Judge Stacey Cook, who is a corrupt fat fucking pig, just like Stephen Groth. They're both corrupt. And I was in the courtroom and I said, show the body cam footage. If you show the body cam footage, it clearly shows the Ohio police attacked me. They tasered me. They stole my money. They laughed at me. They beat me up, the Ohio police. They called me the F word, So they called me all sorts of names. They told me to go back to Canada. I was a Canadian tourist who was in the States legally. I was on vacation in the United States. I will never, ever spend my Canadian tourist money in your country, United States of America. And I told every Canadian and every European and everyone around the world not to spend their money in your country anymore. So I hope the American economy tanked after that. But you know what? You know what Canadians kept saying to me and the Europeans? Kept saying, we already knew. The Europeans and the Canadians already knew that that America's full of corrupt judges and corrupt lawyers. So this dirty Jewish pedophile lawyer, Stephen Groth, I never gave him consent to represent me. I never, ever gave him consent to represent me. Never. And I said, I'm pleading innocent. I am innocent. I am the victim. The Ohio police, the fat, dirty Ohio police, they attacked me. The dirty, corrupt Ohio police, they attacked me. And I demanded that they show the body cam footage. And then we find out that the Ohio police deleted their body cams. They turned their body cam footage off. The Ohio police officers who attacked me on several occasions, because after they attacked me the first time, I also filed a lawsuit against the Ohio police, and then they attacked me again. The Ohio police attacked me several times, and they turned off their body cam footage. So there was no body cam because the Ohio police, they deleted the evidence. They turned their body cam footage off. I strongly suggest you Americans that every time you deal with a Canadian, you leave that body cam footage on. You Americans are not liked around the world. Already Russia don't like you, China don't like you, Germany don't like you, France don't like you, Switzerland don't like you, Sweden don't like you. Every country seems to have a problem with America, especially Japan, and you Americans dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan in World War II. So how dare you Ohio police officers attack me, a Canadian tourist, and then, on top of it, falsely accuse me of espionage, as if Canadians are spying on Americans. You wish Americans we were spying on you. You wish we care about you, you Americans. So how dare you Americans falsely attack me, beat me up, taser me. They tasered me for like 2 minutes. But of course, because the Ohio police turned off the body cam footage, Then when I was sued them civilly, the judge threw out my case because the Ohio police turned off the body cam footage. And then the Ohio judge is like, oh, well, the Ohio police turned off their body cam footage, so I guess you don't have any proof. No, the proof that I have is that you Americans are so dirty, fat, and corrupt that not only did you attack me, but then you turned off your body cam. The fact that Ohio police would delete the body cam footage shows how guilty the Ohio police are. Look at his fucking stupid fucking smirk. Look at that fat fucking smirk. Look at these fat fucking Ohio fucking fat Jewish pigs. Look at their Jewish lawyer smirk. Look at those smirks. Look at those fucking smirks. I'm gonna wipe that fucking smirk off your face. I'm gonna wipe that with a lawsuit when I sue you again. Because I sued you and then I even appealed it. I sued you, I appealed it. I'm gonna do another lawsuit. I'm gonna do another lawsuit. I'm gonna wipe that smirk. One day I'm gonna wipe that smirk off your face with a big fat lawsuit. Just as you're a big fat Jewish pedophile lawyer, I'm gonna wipe that smirk off your face with a big friggin' lawsuit. And you know what? Palestine and Japan and Germany and Russia and Canada and all of these countries that hate the United States, you know, you Americans are not gonna get away with doing all the evil shit. You look at this fat fuck. And then you know what? After the American police attacked me, they had the audacity. At the hospital, they had to give me something because I was in pain from after the Ohio police beat the crap out of me and tasered me. I was in pain. And then they gave me some sort of sedative or something, which like apparently, you know, and then when I was at the Ohio jail, you know, I was crying for hours in the cell. I was in the prison cell crying. Like, oh my God, you Americans, everything that everyone has ever said about you friggin' Americans is right. I can't believe I actually liked America for a while. I can't believe I actually came and spent my Canadian tourist money in your horrible American country. And how dare you do this to a Canadian? You will not get away with doing this to, especially to a Canadian. And you Americans attacked me, and then when they finally said after 8 hours of me crying in an American cell, oh, we're gonna let you go now. Well, I smiled because I was happy that they were finally releasing me. Because who knows what you Americans, you fat ass Americans would have done to me. You might have eaten me. Maybe this guy was planning to eat me. Look how fat he is. They probably eat people. So I smiled only because I was happy that I was being released. And then they took a picture of me when I was smiling on purpose. And then they showed it in the courtroom. And then Judge Stacy Cook, the fat pig, another fat pig named Judge Stacy Cook, who actually is also, look, she's under investigation for other things. She doesn't just, it's not her employees that she mistreats. And if she mistreats her own employees, imagine who else she mistreats, right? She is one of the most corrupt judges in Ohio, this fat fucking pig. And she actually took my mugshot of me smiling, and that smile wasn't a guilty smile. That smile was, I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you Americans into the Stone Age. That was a smile. And there was also a finally they're releasing me smile. Thank God, after spending 8 hours in a dirty American cell. So that was what the smile was for. And Judge Stacy Cook, apparently, and this was before I even got to the courtroom, because she talked bad about me without me there, because she's a fat fucking pig, and she, she's corrupt. See how corrupt she is. Apparently, she showed a picture of my mugshot and said, oh, look at this Canadian smiling. He must be guilty. Look at this Canadian smiling in the mugshot. He must be guilty. Look at that smile in the mugshot. He must be guilty. No, you bitch. No, that was me smiling, saying, you Americans, how dare you do this to me? You will not get away with attacking a Canadian. I was smiling because I was innocent. And I finally was told after 8 hours of being in a cell crying that I was going to be released. So anyone who's finally told they're going to be now free after being in a cell for 8 hours crying would be suddenly happy that they were being released. But I wasn't happy at all. I was just for a moment smiling the fact that I was relieved that you fat ass Americans were going to let me go. That's the only reason why I smiled even for a minute. I was not happy with the situation. I do not consent to what you Americans did to me. You tasered me. You attacked me, you Americans. And this is one of the most corrupt judges in Ohio. And she needs to be in prison. I want her in prison. I swear to God, you Americans, you need to put her in prison. And you need to put these two dirty lawyers in prison as well. You need to put this Jewish lawyer, this Jewish pedophile in prison. You need to, and look at, now that's a smirk. Now that's a guilty smirk right there. You want to talk about a guilty smirk? Look at these smiles. That's a guilty smirk. Okay? This guy, he probably misrepresents all his clients. He probably steals from his clients. Look at him. Look at that's a bad smirk right there. You want to talk about a guilty smirk? That's a friggin' guilty. And he looks like he eats all his clients too. And this is a Jewish pedophile. This guy, I literally said in the courtroom, I don't know who this guy is. And Judge Stacy Cook was going to appoint him as my amicus lawyer, or as he was going to be a court-appointed lawyer. I said no. I said, I will not. You Americans just attacked me, and I will not let an American be my lawyer. No. After you Americans attacked me, you attacked a Canadian. You actually think you're going to get away with attacking a Canadian? Think twice. And I said, no, I represent myself. I am Canadian, and I represent myself, and I will not let any American represent me. And Judge Stacy Cook said, oh, no, we can't allow you to represent yourself, Mr. Canadian, and they're appointing this lawyer to represent me. I said, no, I'm representing myself. Then I also said, I plead innocent. Innocent. And I screamed it in the courtroom. I screamed it at that fat Stacy Judge Cook. I screamed it at that fat judge named Judge Stacy Cook. I screamed at her. I said, I plead innocent. And I want you to show the body cam footage now, because the body cam footage will clearly show that I'm the victim. You American Ohio police officers attacked me. You tasered me. You beat me up. You stole my money. And if you show the Ohio body cam footage, it will clearly show that. And then this lawyer, who I never agreed to represent me, he pled, oh, not guilty by insanity. What? You're the ones who are crazy Americans. I never agreed for this fat Jewish lawyer, this fat Jewish pedophile. I never agreed for him to represent me. Never. Never, never, never. And I said, I plead innocent. Innocent. And I screamed it at this fat Jewish lawyer. I screamed it at the fat judge, Stacy Cook, who, look, she's even under investigation for mistreating her own employees. See? She's corrupt. And she's one of the most corrupt one of the most corrupt judges in all of Ohio. And then she laughed at me and she said, oh, when you send this Canadian back to American prison, make sure you give him the best cell. And you know what? You know what that was code for? That was code for put me in like the hole. And they put me in the hole. And I said, oh, you Americans. Now I know why you got attacked on 9/11. Now I know why the whole world celebrated on 9/11. You Americans. And she had me put, after I had screamed what a fat pig she is, what a liar, and I screamed that I represent myself, I plead innocent, and then this dirty Jewish lawyer who I never agreed to represent me, look at that smile. Look at he's a guilty smile. Look at that guilty fat fuck. Look, they're both fucking look at those smiles. They're the ones who are guilty. And then they turned around, and Stephen Groth, from Stephen Groth and Associates, Stephen Slob and Associates, Stephen Fat and Associates, he turned around and said, we're pleading not guilty by insanity. What? I am the victim, you fat Jewish pedophile. How dare you even imply that I might be crazy when I am the victim? And if you just show the body cam footage will show that the Ohio police attacked me. I had done nothing wrong. In fact, I was afraid for my life because I'm from Canada and I had never ever seen a gun before. Ever. I have never ever seen a gun up close. So when, of course, the Ohio police had falsely arrested me and falsely detained me, which, by the way, there's thousands of videos on YouTube proving what corrupt, dirty, fat Ohio police officers are. When they did that, I was scared. I was so scared. I wasn't moving at all. I was in shock that I was being arrested for no reason by corrupt, dirty Ohio cops. And I was like a statue. I wasn't moving at all. And then they go to put handcuffs on me. And then and I should have figured right before I heard him say it. He said, turn off body cam. And I'm like, oh, that was a red flag. Oh no, I hope he's not going to do something. The Ohio police officer said into his body cam, turn off body cam. And then, sure enough, he was going to grab my hands to arrest me, and I just was hoping he didn't shoot me. I was just praying. I was scared. I actually peed my pants. I was so scared I peed my pants, and I didn't move at all because I was scared that they were going to shoot me, because you Americans are trigger happy. So I literally just did everything he wanted. I just stood there, and I just let him grab my hands. And right before he handcuffed me, then he's saying, oh, stop resisting, and he was laughing. I'm like, I'm not resisting. I haven't moved at all. What are you talking about? I haven't moved an inch. I'm a statue. I haven't moved at all. Then he said again, stop resisting, Canadian. I said, I'm not resisting. Like, I haven't moved at all. Then he said, ha ha ha, Canadian, stop resisting. And then he pulled down my pants and he tasered me in the ass for 2 minutes. And I had never, ever been tasered before in my life. And that could give you a heart attack. And I was so mad. I was so mad. There's different levels of mad, right? There's the angry where you like scream and stuff. And I was actually so mad that not only was I cooperative the whole time, but then after they tasered me, I was calm. I was like the calm before the storm mad. I had not moved at all. I just stood there, like there was like smoke coming out of my ears. I was just like, oh, I'm the type of mad. This is what type of mad I am. I'm the type of mad to befriend you now, make you think I'm your best friend, and then on September 11, 2001, that's how mad I was. And I just, look how cleverly I just worded that, what I just said. I was so I did not react even after he tasered me. I didn't react angrily like that. I didn't start screaming, nothing. I was in shock. Literally was in shock. He tasered me for 2 minutes. And I was like, And then he was laughing his ass off after he tasered me in the butt. And he's like, take that, Canada. Oh, you think you can do this to a Canadian? Oh, you Americans, we're not the Japanese. We're not pushovers like the Japanese. You Americans, you dropped 2 nukes on Japan in World War II and you made Japan your bitch. You Americans dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, but we're not the Japanese, Canada. No, we beat your ass in the first war. Remember the first war, you fat ass Americans? Remember the War of 1812? Canada won that war. Canada beat your American asses in the War of 1812. So, hey, you Americans say that, oh, the Russians. Hey, Canadians, we speak better English than the Russians. Canadians, we speak better English than the Chinese. Canadians, we speak better English than you Americans ever will. So you especially do not want to mess with a Canadian. And I was in shock because I was extra nice to these people. That's how Canadians are. We are extra nice. We do not act out in public like that unless we were extremely provoked. Unless we have been extremely provoked, we are nice people, Canadians. And I acted as my nice, normal self. I was even extra nice because in Canada, they teach us to be extra nice to foreigners, especially North Koreans. Canadians were extra nice to North Koreans, the Japanese, all of America's enemies. Canadians, we are extra nice to everyone, even Americans. So I did not, if you just showed the body cam footage, it would show that you would be shocked. Like you would be so angry if you saw the body cam footage. The fact that they deleted the body cam footage shows you how bad it was. Shows you that I was the victim. Because of course, if the cops were innocent, if the cops were the innocent victims in all of this, the cops would have showed the body cam footage, right? If the cops were innocent, and if the cops did nothing wrong, they would have showed that body cam footage 24/7. And the cops would have kept showing it over and over, right? If the cops were innocent and the cops did nothing wrong, they would have no problem showing the body cam footage. They would have released it right away. If it was just some crazy person, some crazy Canadian, like they tried to portray me to be in court, if that were the case, then they would have just shown the body cam footage, right? Right? Because every time the cops pretend to be the victims, the cops have no problem showing the body cam footage when they're in the right. If the cops did nothing wrong, they would show the body cam footage. But in my case, They didn't show the body cam footage. Why? Because the cops were guilty. The cops were so guilty. The cops were so guilty, they wouldn't even show the body cam footage for how guilty the cops were. That's why they didn't show the body cam footage, which I requested many times. So the moral of the story is, you Americans, you might have been able to get away with dropping 2 bombs on Japan. You might have been able to get away with destroying Germany. You Americans might have been getting away with invading Vietnam. But you Americans might have gotten away with invading the Middle East for oil. You Americans might be getting away with what you're doing to Palestine. You Americans might have gotten away with the Cold War with Russia and how you screwed Russia in the Cold War and made the Soviet Union collapse and the Cold War. You Americans might have gotten away with all of that and whatever you did to the aliens at Area 51. You Americans might have gotten away with all that, but you Americans will not ever get away with messing with Canada. Because Canada, look where we are. We're on top. Just look at the map. Just look at the map of the world. Canada will always be on top. And you Americans will always be on the bottom. And that's the way it's going to be forever. And if you Americans think that you can get away with messing with Canadians, just remember, we speak better English than the Russians ever will. Heck, there's Canadians that can do American accents. There's Canadians that can pretend to be from Texas or with a southern drawl. Or there's even Canadians that can do a New York, Boston accent. There's Canadians that can talk like they're from the Midwest or like they're from Minnesota, eh? There's Canadians that can talk like everyday Americans. And we look like Americans too. There's Canadians that can get in any part of the United States. It's harder for Chinese spies to get around in the United States. It's definitely harder for African spies or Latino spies. But Canadians, we can get anywhere. Because we can look like Americans. Canadians can walk like Americans. Canadians can even talk like Americans. We can do perfect American accents. So Canada is not a country that Americans want to mess with. And if you want proof that Canadians can get anywhere in America, why don't you watch those 9/11 tapes back again? Why don't you replay those 9/11 tapes back? And maybe you'll find the proof that Canadians can get anywhere in the United States. There's Canadians in the White House right now. There's Canadian spies in the White House right now. And you'll never know which ones work for Canada. You will never know which spies in the White House work for Canada. But I guarantee you, there are Canadian spies in the White House right now. So America, you will not get away with doing what you did to Canadians. We're nice. Don't get me wrong. Canadians are nice until you mess with us. Canadians, we are nice people. We are raised to be nice. But just because we are nice doesn't mean that you can walk all over us. Just because Canadians are nice doesn't mean that you can bully us. Look at that smirk. Look at that fat fucking smirk. Look at this guy. Look how corrupt he is. You could just tell in his smile how corrupt he is. You could tell in his smile how corrupt. Look at this. Look, you could tell how corrupt. And then let's go back to Judge Stacey Fatty Cook. Let's go back to Judge. Look, she's even under investigation for how she mistreats the employees. If she mistreats the employees badly, just imagine how badly she mistreats the victims, the people they wrongfully accused, the innocent Canadians like me, the innocent Canadian tourists who were just walking down the street and then got pulled over on a random stop. Okay, and then when they see that I'm Canadian. And I showed I had a passport. I was there legally. I was in the United States legally. I had a passport. I crossed the border legally. Everything was legal. They had nothing to get me on. And that's why eventually they dropped all the charges against me. I was the victim. These Ohio police officers, they tasered me. They stole my money. They beat me. They stole my phone. They broke my phone. They beat me. They put me in prison. They strip searched me. They humiliated me. And then, of course, all the charges eventually were dropped because I kept demanding a trial. They would never give me a trial because they know I would win in trial. And they refused to show the body cam footage because they know I would win. Trust me, if they showed the body cam footage, not only would I have won right away, immediately, But I could have walked out like as a millionaire, but I didn't. You know what? I was so mad because in Canada, let me tell you, in Canada, we are nice people. We're not out for money. There's some Canadians that are out for money, but most Canadians, we're not out for money. We believe that you have to treat everyone with respect and you should be nice to everyone. So if you are not nice to Canadians, if you actually mess with nice Canadians, you are messing with people who were raised. It's our culture to be nice. And you are going against our Canadian culture. So we don't care about the money. You Americans can keep the money. But what you can't keep is your dignity after Canada hands you your ass on the next 9/11. That's what you can't keep. You can't keep your dignity after Canada brings justice. After Canada is going to bring so much justice and karma on the United States. Because you Americans, you think you can bully Japan, you drop 2 nukes on Japan, you Americans, you destroyed Germany, you Americans, you invaded Korea, you invaded Vietnam, you Americans, you destroyed Russia in the Cold War, in the Russian Cold War. You Americans got away with all that, but you will not get away with messing with Canadians. Because we're everywhere. We're all over the United States right now. You think the Russians are bad? Canadians are everywhere. And we speak better English than Americans ever will. And there's Canadians right now, they speak perfect American accents. They're all over America. And you'll never know which people work for Canada. But they're everywhere. There's currently people who walk American, talk American, they wave the American flag, they could speak with perfect Texan accents, and you'll never know that they're actually Canadian and working for Mother Canada. So you Americans, you didn't learn your first lesson after the first 9/11. It's clear after the first 9/11, you Americans became even bigger a-holes. And you Americans will learn your lesson one day. One day in the future, you Americans will learn your lesson. So hold on a sec, I'm going to put on a meme. And you want to know something that's sad? Is I'm one of the nice Canadians. Like, listen, if I had been acting like a jerk, if I was being disrespectful, if I was even guilty, when the American police attacked me, I would have been like, I deserved it, right? But I was extremely mad after the fact because I had done nothing wrong. Was in the United States legally. I had my passport. I broke no laws. I harassed nobody. And those Ohio cops, they just wanted to just stick it to a Canadian. Those Ohio cops, they wanted to stick it to a Canadian, and they did. They tasered me in the butt, and then they laughed. Those Ohio cops laughed. And then those Ohio cops laughed again when I found out that they deleted the body cam footage. The Ohio police deleted the body cam footage, so they got away with attacking me. But you Americans will not get away with it in the end. In the end, America will not get away with all of the evil stuff that you've done to everyone around the world. In fact, I mean, isn't it strange how California was on fire, Michigan had the dirty water scandal with Flint, Michigan, you guys got the COVID happening, you guys got all those tsunamis and hurricanes, you Americans, you get all those earthquakes, you Americans get all those tornadoes, you Americans get things like 9/11, you Americans get all sorts of things happening on American soil, right? And maybe that's karma from God. Maybe there is a God. And maybe God has unleashed so much karma on the United States, and it's still coming. God is still bringing the karma on the United States. So, like, I'm mad because I'm upset because I had done nothing wrong. I had complied. I had followed every rule. I was in the United States legally. I was spending my Canadian tourist money in your horrible country. Why? Why would I go to America, spend my Canadian tourist money just to be robbed, just to be attacked, just to be tasered, just to be harassed, just to be humiliated? What Canadian in their right mind would ever want to spend their tourist money in the United States ever again? So that's why I was mad, because if I had done something wrong and I deserved to be tasered, then I would have owned it. But the fact that the Ohio cops refused to show the body cam footage shows you that not only were they guilty, but they were so guilty that they would not even dare release the body cam footage in a million years. That's how guilty they were. Because we still see every day body cam footage being released, which shows that the cops are guilty. So just imagine, in my case, what the Ohio police did to me was so horrendous that the Ohio police made it their priority to never release that body cam footage. There's body cam footage being released every day showing American cops like douchebags, like jerks, like liars, like a-holes. There's body cam footage, there's horrendous body cam footage every day being released. But I'm telling you, what the Ohio police did to me was so bad that the Ohio police would never, ever in a million years release that body cam footage. Because I could have sued them for millions, really. But you know what? When I did sue them, I didn't sue for millions. I sued them in small claims court, and I sued for like one of the lowest. It was probably one of the lowest lawsuits. Like there's people that get tickled by the police and they sue for millions. There's Americans who get tickled by the police and they sue for millions. And I literally got tasered, and I got beat up, and I got attacked, I got humiliated. They stole my money, they lied about me, they defamed me, portrayed me as a criminal when I wasn't. If anything, my case deserved millions. But I didn't sue for millions. What I sued for was the minimum amount that I could sue for in small claims court. And because I wanted to prove it wasn't about the money with me, it was the principle. Because I was a nice Canadian. And you do not mess with nice Canadians. We're nice, but that doesn't mean you could walk all over us. We're nice until you mess with us. That's how nice we are. We're definitely nice until you mess with us. So I sued for one of the lowest amounts in like the history of lawsuits. Okay, when they in the clerk's office, they were probably shocked. They're like, "You're not suing for 20 million? You're not suing even for $500,000?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm suing because I want them to show the body cam footage. I want them to release the body cam footage showing what they did to me, and I will be happy to accept just enough money to cover my hospital bills and to cover my tourist expenses. Like my whole weekend was ruined. My whole weekend was ruined. I couldn't go and do the sightseeing I wanted to do. Okay, I had sporting tickets I couldn't use because I was so crying for what happened to me. So I would like to be reimbursed for the sporting tickets I couldn't use. That was not fair. But I should have been able to go to the sporting event. I should be reimbursed for the hospital expenses after they tasered me and what else they did to me. I should be reimbursed for legal fees. I wasn't looking for $1 million payout because for me, this was a legit case where I was legitimately a victim. And I was so disgusted at the way they treated me and the way they would treat a Canadian. And actually, you know what? We are nice Canadians and we don't tolerate that shit for anybody. We don't treat Japanese people like that. We don't treat Germans like that. We don't treat Mexicans like that. Canadians, we don't tolerate that crap for anybody. We treat everyone nicely. We treat the North Koreans with the utmost respect. Canada is best friends with the North Koreans. Canada's best friends with the Middle East. Canada's best friends with the Russians. Canada's best friends with all of America's enemies. Canada, we treat people with respect. So I was mad mostly over principle. Of course, I was pissed off extremely that I had been tasered in the butt, which could cause me heart problems in the future. Who knows? I had never been tasered before in my life. I had never even been to prison before. I had never been charged with anything before this. And then the American cops, they turn around and laugh and they delete the body cam footage. The fact that the Ohio police didn't show the body cam footage is just exactly how bad it was. What you would see on the body cam footage is you would see me literally walking down the street, having done nothing wrong, police officers stopping me on the street, talking to me, saying, hey, what your accent, you're not from around here, are you? I said, well, no, I'm not from Mexico. I mean, I'm Canadian. Yeah, I'm not from here. Like I was just explaining to the hotel clerk, I'm from Canada, and I'm here, and I was just at the hotel in the United States. I was just explaining to the hotel clerk, I'm from Canada, blah blah blah. She didn't seem homophobic, although you Americans are such liars. Bill Clinton lied about boinking Monica Lewinsky. You Americans lie about everything. So who knows? Maybe the hotel clerk was homophobic. Maybe the hotel clerk doesn't like gay people. I wasn't doing anything gay though. I wasn't waving no flag. I wear black. I don't wear any colors, bright colors. I wear black. I am a scientist. I'm a mathematician. I visit museums. I was visiting museums in Ohio. I had legitimate reason. I was, on my vacation, I don't go to spring break. I don't go get drunk on my vacation. When I go on vacation, I visit museums because I'm a World War II. I love World War II. I'm a history major. No, my major, I took something else, and I took foreign languages. I speak fluent Russian, but what I'm saying is I love history. I wasn't a history major in university, but I love history. I'm a big fan of history. I study history, but I wasn't a major in history. But still, I like to visit museums. This is the kind of stuff I like to do. I like to go to sporting events. I like to go to baseball games. I like to go to the Super Bowl. I like to go watch the football players. I like to go to sporting events. Okay. I like to get those big stadium hot dogs. I like to get those big stadium hot dogs, put them, So that's what I like to do. I like to go to sporting events. I don't like to go to casinos. I only went to like one casino, and they well, I just went to a casino a few times, but I don't really like casinos. I don't go to Disneyland. I'm not one of those creeps that go to Disneyland. Frick, I was trying to have a normal vacation. I literally was going on museums. I was making it part of my work because I'm a book writer. I write novels. I write books. I write novels. I do research for novels. I was visiting museums in Ohio. I was having a nice time. I was going to sporting events. I was having a nice time. And then the next thing you know, I'm just walking down the street, and I was literally walking from the hotel. This happened down the street from the hotel, which makes me even suspect that maybe the hotel manager or someone in the hotel was homophobic, which I don't know why. I did nothing there. I didn't even have a partner. Didn't have no guy with me. I was by myself. And they knew I was a science nerd. They saw me with a science textbook. Like I'm literally all the time. I read science books for fun. I do mathematics for fun. I am a math geek. I do mathematics for fun. I do science for fun. I do trigonometry for fun. I do calculus for fun. I do algebra for fun. I do statistics and probability for fun. I do all this stuff for fun. I do mathematics for fun. I love math. I love science. I do science for fun. I love to visit museums. So the hotel manager or someone at the hotel was probably homophobic. And then maybe they called the cops and hey, go beat up this Canadian, this like gay Canadian. And sure enough, I was literally down the street from the hotel when suddenly a police car pulled right up to me and started asking me questions. They're like, oh, hey, you're not from around here. You have an accent. Where are you from? I'm like, Canada. Why? Do you know where that is? It's up that way. It's right above you. It's that big country. It's the big country right above you that you definitely. I didn't say that, but but I said I'm from Canada. Why? That's what I said. I said I'm from Canada. Why are you asking? I'm from Canada. Then they went through the whole. Oh, we want to see your passport. We want to see this and that. Blah blah blah. And I showed them the receipts. I showed them my passport. I was there legally. Had broke no laws. And then they're like, oh, we're arresting you because you're suspicious. I'm like, how am I suspicious? They're like, well, you're from Canada. What? How does being from Canada make someone suspicious? I thought you Americans hated Mother Russia. I thought you Americans hated the Russians. Suddenly, you Americans don't like Canadians? Or is it because I'm a homosexual? Which is it, you American mother. So I had done nothing wrong. I swear. The fact, like the proof is there. The proof is the fact that they would not show the body cam footage. If they had shown the body cam footage, you would have seen that I had done nothing wrong. They attacked me. Then they had the audacity to try to make me look like a criminal when I had never been arrested for nothing ever before. That was the first time I had ever been put to prison. The first time I had ever been sent to prison was in the United States by Americans. And you know what? I'm telling you, if you take a nice person, especially an overly nice person like me, you put them in prison, it changes you. Oh, it changes you. And then you Americans wonder why, it changes you. Yeah, oh no, you do not mess with a Canadian. Oh, because I was nice. Believe me, I was nice. And I did everything. I followed all the protocols. I was nice. I complied with every order. I was nice. And then you still attacked me, even though I was so nice. And I was so mad. And that's how mad. You want to make someone mad? Take a person who literally did nothing wrong, who broke no laws, who was spending their tourist money in your stupid country. I could have gone to Europe. I could have took my Canadian tourist money to Europe. I could have gone to Australia. I could have gone to Asia. I could have gone to Russia again. I could have gone to so many other places. But for some reason, I liked America because I like Saturday Night Live and I like Mad TV and I watched The Simpsons. I know I watched Judge Judy and I loved American football and I love going to the Super Bowl football, buying Super Bowl football tickets. I love going to sporting events. I was such a big America fan. When everyone else hated you, when the Middle East hated you after 9/11, even before 9/11, when the whole world hated you, when Russia hated you, when communist China hated you, I was, the biggest, I love Americans. And then all these Canadians, they told me, they said, don't go to America because the Americans, they're inbreds, they're racist, the Americans are liars, the Americans are a bunch of thugs. And that's what my Canadian ancestors told me. All my Canadian ancestors, they all said more or less the same thing. Americans, you don't want to go to the United States. They're a bunch of thugs over there. They're inbreds. They're yokels and they're nut jobs. And I'm like, you're just describing one part of America, not all of America. I was defending you Americans. I can't even believe that I defended you Americans. And obviously I wasn't going to go to the deep south where they're have inbreds and stuff. I wasn't going to go to the yodel country, obviously. So I wasn't expecting the police from all people to rob me. I wasn't expecting the Ohio police to be thugs. Obviously, if I'm a Canadian tourist, I would be shocked that the people who actually robbed me are the Ohio police and attack me. In fact, I actually did come across some yodels, and they were nice to me. Those yodel, country guys that I came across in Ohio, they didn't touch me at all. But guess who did touch me and assault me and steal my money? The Ohio police. I couldn't even believe it. I had even gone, sometimes when you're walking, right, you go into some sketchy neighborhoods and no one from the sketchy neighborhoods attacked me. You know who attacked me? The Ohio police down the street from the hotel I was staying at. My hotel bill was paid. I was there. I had caused no issues. I was a nice gay Canadian. I had done nothing wrong. I had a whole itinerary. I was going to go visit those Ohio museums. And then I was going to go to the sporting events. And then one of the people in the courtroom, they're like, why is he visiting museums? World War II history major? Is he a spy or something from Canada? What? Are you Americans out of your mind? You Americans are paranoid. You think everyone's spying on you. You Americans, you think everyone's out to get you. You think Russia's out to get you and Japan is out to get you. Hey, you know what? Maybe the reason why everyone's out to get you Americans is because you Americans are a-holes. Maybe that's why everyone's out to get you. That's why you're scared of the Japanese and the Germans. The Germans are coming. The Germans are coming. Or the Japanese are going to do another Pearl Harbor. Or they're going to do another 9/11. The Middle East is going to do another 9/11. Maybe you Americans, if you want to stop getting attacked, you should stop being a-holes. Because no one's attacking Canada. There's never been a Pearl Harbor on Canada. The Japanese love Canada. The Japanese love Canadians. The Japanese would never do a Pearl Harbor on Canada because Japan loves Canada. And the Middle East loves Canada. Every country loves us because we're not a-holes like you Americans. So if you Americans want to stop getting attacked, maybe you shouldn't dish it. If you can't take it, don't dish it. You Americans are the ones dishing it. So if you Americans can't take it, don't dish it. You're the ones who start shit. You Americans are the ones who start shit. That's why you fought with the whole world. You fought with the whole world. You Americans, you fought with Japan. You Americans, you fought with Germany. You Americans, you fought with Russia in the Cold War. You Americans, you fought with Vietnam. You fought with Korea. You had an issue with Cuba. You couldn't even travel to Cuba for so many years. You Americans had an issue with everyone, the Middle East. Especially after 9/11, you Americans had an issue with the Middle East, especially after 9/11. You Americans have fought with the whole world. And then you wonder why the whole world doesn't like you? Maybe that's why the whole world doesn't like you. And Canada, we were like your last ally. Like Canada was America's last ally. And you did this to your last ally. And trust me, if I was a Canadian spy, that's another reason why you don't want to mess with Canada. Because if Canada really does have spies in the United States, that's another reason why you wouldn't want to mess with us. That's even more reason. What do you Americans do? Do you American police officers go looking for Russian spies and then you beat up the Russian spies? And then you wonder why Putin's about to nuke you? Are you Americans out of your mind? You go looking for Russian spies, you beat up Russian spies, and then you wonder why Putin's about to nuke you Americans? You're beating up all the Russian spies. If you see a Russian spy, you know what to do, okay? You take them to dinner, you flatter them, and then you get the information another way. You don't get the information from a Russian spy by beating the crap out of him. You Americans are so pig-headed, you don't realize that there's a proper way to do things, okay? So anyways, you Americans, I mean, you're already getting your karma. God is the one. God is bringing the karma. God, look at all these tornadoes. Look at these hurricanes. Look at these earthquakes. God clearly doesn't like you Americans. God, you've pissed off God too. All you devil worshippers. Did you see that Lady Gaga? That was creepy. Lady Gaga just released a music video like 30 minutes ago called something about the dead dance or something. The most creepiest music video I have ever seen released by Lady Gaga. You Americans, you're all you're like devil worshippers. You do creepy music videos where Lady Gaga's dancing around with these creepy dolls. Like you Americans, like no wonder America is screwed up. You Americans are literally like having all these creepy music videos with like these dolls dancing. Did you see that Lady Gaga video? It just got released like 30 minutes ago. So, karma's coming. You know, what goes around comes around. Which is kind of like, you know, it's great because a lot of people, we don't even have to lift a finger. We don't have to lift a finger. We could just sit here and you Americans are going to get your karma. God obviously don't like you with all the tornadoes and hurricanes and earthquakes he's unleashing on you guys. So you Americans, you're already getting your karma. So that's it. So if you Americans wonder why the whole world hates you, stop being a-holes. That's why. Let's go to comments. Who are these people saying, no, I said karma. I said 100 times that you Americans are getting your karma. You know what karma is? You need to look up what karma is. I don't gotta do nothing. Look at Russia. You Americans, you pissed off Russia. Russia's gonna be the one to take you out. Russia's the one doing it. You can't stop Putin. Look what Putin's been doing. Trump can't stop Putin at all. Putin's winning. Putin and Russia is winning. Thanks to some help from Canada. Russia's winning. Like Russia is destroying Ukraine. Russia's about to take Alaska. Mother Russia is about to annex Alaska from America. So Canada don't need to do nothing. Russia's doing all the work for Canada. You're right. Someone came in and said, oh, you Canadians have been living off the hard work of others. Yeah, Mother Russia. Canada, we just let Russia do everything for us. And then whenever Putin calls Canada for a favor, we'd be like, yeah, Putin, yeah, Russia, we love you. Canada, we love you, or you, Russia. We do whatever Russia wants. We bend over for Putin. Well, I mean, I bend over for Putin, but that's for a different reason. So, no, I said karma. I definitely did say karma many times. I said karma. You Americans are getting your karma. Karma is a real thing. You know that Taylor Swift song, Karma, where she sings about karma? Yeah, Taylor Swift is singing about you Americans getting your karma. That's what that Taylor Swift song is about, where she sings about karma. So, and imagine I'm a victim here, and y'all are turning this around on me. Like, once again, the victim blaming. You Americans love to do victim blaming. It is disgusting, you Americans, with all this victim blaming. You take the victims and you try to make them look like the guilty ones. That is disgusting. So anyways.